If you're starting out fresh and you have absolutely zero experience in real estate, I want you to consider this. Start creatively investing in real estate. Happy 2019, everybody. And you should be thinking about your outlook in terms of real estate. So here's what I'm thinking. In the creative area of real estate, the outlook is pretty good. It really, a matter of fact, the worse the economy gets, it seems as our business gets better. Especially if you want to invest in it. That means you're going to buy it so you can hold it. So here's what I want to talk about in terms of the outlook of the creative side of real estate. It looks good. In terms of lease options and options, we still have a lot of those deals that are going to work. There are more newer homes on the market, especially in my area, where people want to rent out. The only restrictions you really have to watch out for is the HOAs and all of that. But lease options and options are still up and swinging. I love them. They work. Subject to, they're always going to work no matter what. They work even better in a bad economy. So these options and subject to investing are great. We have the rehab side of things. I don't see things drying up anytime soon there. Rehabbing is always a good thing. It's very sexy. Everybody likes to do it. Not everybody should do it. Not everybody can do it, because the truth is, it's more of a risk, right? You're going to have to put your money down. You're basically most people need private money or some kind of a bank loan to do rehabbing. So you're gonna need, you don't really need credit, but you will need some money. And in order to do that, these lenders are not really going to give you the money unless they see some of yours. Okay, so you will need to work up to that point. If you have some of the money already, that's great. But again, like I said, it's more of a risk, but it's still good business. I think the best part of the business is the part where you start creatively, where you don't use too much of your own money to get in. And then once you get in, then you can work up to the rehabbing and some of the things that we'll talk about later. Think of this, and I'll show you in a minute, but it's like a square, right? You're going to have real estate investing creatively in 4-quadrant. In the creative side of things, or in the side where you have the homes that don't need any kind of repairs, you have the subject to and you have the lease option on that side of the quadrant. And on the other side, you have the ugly house business, the ugly house where you have to rehab them, you have to do something. So the wholesalers exist on that quadrant, and these wholesalers feed the next quadrant, which is the retail part of the business, which are rehabbing. So you've got lease options and subject to investing. That has to do with the good houses, the houses that are newer, they need no repairs. And then you have the ugly side of the business, which is the rehab and the wholesaling, the people that feed the rehabbers. So there you have it, the two sides of the business. Which side should you start? I would start on the level where you need no money to go in, okay? So that means the wholesaling, you'd need no money. You just maybe $100, $200 to put the property on the contract, and then you turn it by selling that contract to that rehabber. Or the subject to, where you need absolutely no money. That means you put the property under contract and you close with a notary. Okay, so you're gonna need some money to close it with the notary. What, 50 bucks? 150 bucks? Really? You need a credit card. That's what you need. And then you pay that notary and you get that deed. And after you get the deed, then you rent out the property. You rent it out with a lease option. So, and I have a course that shows you how to do that. That's my favorite because that's how I got started. And then you can do very creative things with that. After that, you can also do short sales. Short sales where people are in foreclosure and they know they're done, you know, or maybe they don't think they're done. But the point is, you can help them through the foreclosure process by helping them to get out. Because sometimes people just don't know what the foreclosure does to them, what the effects are going to be, and what decisions they need to make. Sometimes they don't have the money to go to an attorney to figure things out, so they rely on information, and they're looking on the internet, and to people like you that's coming to buy the property from them, then you can actually instruct them, help them to see the benefits of what they're going through and how you can help them and how you can help each other. So I've been known to go into people's houses, let's say they're in foreclosure, and I've been known to just buy groceries for them, you know, because sometimes they are that far behind and that far where they don't have the money to even move. I help them to move, and I'll hire the truck and get the labor and get them out of that house. And then after they're out, then I'll help them with a few bucks to start. Maybe I'll even rent that apartment for them. And so that way they can just move right into that apartment, be out of the house and not have to deal with it again. I take it over, and maybe I'll save it by going to the bank and curing that default. And then now I have a house that I can clean up and then rent out again and have an income coming in. Maybe I won't do that. Maybe if they're so far behind, like maybe 2 years behind, honey, I have somebody who is behind six years. So in that case, then we just do a short sale. And a short sale is simple if you know how, okay? And this is perfect because what you're doing is that you're making money off of the bank, not off of these poor people. Okay, so those are some of the creative things that you ought to be looking into doing this year. Short sales are not dead. They're still very much alive. Maybe you just can't do them as crazy as you used to do them, because I used to do them crazy. So now, you know, there are some deed restrictions and resale restrictions, but there's ways to get around that. You can still do the business and you can still make a fair amount of money. Okay, so that's my outlook for 2019. You really can make money in this creative space. I want you to be thinking about this, where you fit in on that quadrant. Where I think you fit in is where we're talking about subject to investing, wholesaling, and lease options. I would just leave that rehabbing for a minute, for a bit, so until you build up that cash. So my job and what I want to do for you is I want to show you how you can get to that point where you can put down $30, $40, $50, $250,000 cash down on a property where now you can close on it, own it, and it's yours, and not have to do any creative stuff. Well, you always do creative stuff, in my opinion. You should always have that creative thing in your arsenal, because that's what you do. You're an investor. But my job, or what I want to help you to do, is to get to that point where you have cash. Whether you want to buy your own house, you want to go on vacations, whatever you want, but I want to help you to build wealth this way. Now you have a load of cash that you can go and put into any projects that you want to put. You want to build a hotel, you want to build, you know, a little chateau on the beach of Jamaica. You want to, whatever you want to do, you can. You have the seed capital in order to do that. And that's where I want to live here with you. Okay, so first thing is first, you have to get your foot in the door. All that stuff out there that I just mentioned is nice. It's nice when you can go and, you know, get a realtor. Okay, hopefully it will be me. And you'll get a realtor and put an offer on a property. Maybe it's 1.2 million. And then you have, you know, maybe $80,000 to $120,000 to put down on that property. And know that you will be able to rent it up or turn it and close on it and do whatever you want to do with it. Here is the thing. You can still do that creatively, but what I'm trying to say is that type of a property, you know, you'll be able to go anywhere and buy property because you have the cash. When we're working creatively, we have to find certain type of property with a motivated owner, somebody who's willing to do what we want. Those deals are out there, and they're out there in droves. They really are. You have to make it. You have to make those deals. They don't fall in your lap sometimes. You have to make them. So again, like I said, start where you are. So if you have an extra $10,000 sitting in the bank, I would not tell you to use that on a property. Don't let anybody tell you that you should take that money and put into their project. I say you need to learn enough so you can do it yourself, and you will be able to do something like a lease option or a subject to deal or even wholesaling. So now you have maybe a couple $1,000s that you can help somebody out with if they need, let's say you get into a foreclosure situation where somebody's in a pre-foreclosure and they need to get out. Maybe you can front that $2,000 and say, I'm going to pay you $2,000 now, sign this deed, and you go. And now you have this house for $2,000. Okay, so these are some of the things I'm talking about. When I got started, I did not have that. What I had to do is I would basically exchange my knowledge for them. So I would show them what the foreclosure means to them. I would tell them about the foreclosure timeline and how it affects their credit and all of that. And then I would say, I would buy it from you because if you get to this point, this is gonna happen and so on. You know, basically I bought the property. I just took it over subject to, and then I turned around. I did a short sale on some of them. Some of them I just sold because there was equity in it. And some of them I rented for a while, and then I turned around and I sold it to that tenant. So these are some of the ways that I suggest you get started. On one deal alone, I think I made like about $60,000 because I had to pay off my college and I have to pay off a few loans and then I was still left with money. So all it takes is just one deal. That's what I'm just trying to say. It just takes one deal for you to get started.